Ugh. So, religion. Here we are again. Yeah, but this time, as I said, let's talk about Satan for a bit. Christians regard Satan as the source of all evil, the father of lies, the father of sin, etc. But who was really the father of sin? God put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden and told them, fuck around and find out, which is kind of a scientific method. And he said that they can do whatever the fuck they want, except for one thing: do not eat fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. By saying that, he just basically, gave him a test and just fucking don't. You can go do whatever the hell you want, whatever the fuck you want. You can go eat anything, do anything, but don't eat that specific fruit. Basically, he gave them a choice to obey him or not. And then it says in the Bible that the snake tempted Eve to eat the fruit of from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which she did. And I'm just wondering, who really is the father of sin? If God gave them a choice and Eve just fucking did it, she executed her right to choose to disobey God. Who's really the father of sin? It doesn't seem like it was Satan to me. Seems to me that it was either people, so Eve and then Adam, or God himself created sin, because, God gave them a choice in the first place, which is kind of a fucked up test, You're giving people a choice, and you know that the consequences of that choice will not be what you like. So it's more of a test than a choice. It was a test of, at least to me, it was a test to see whether they would blindly obey, because there is no reasoning behind it. There is absolutely fucking none. If you give someone, if you forbid something, you have to have some kind of reason for it, and that reason has to be somehow known for it to actually be a choice, because you're choosing not to do or not to do. But actually, when you make a decision, when you make a choice, you choose between consequences of that decision. If you choose to end somebody's life, then you choose the consequences of ending somebody's life, meaning that person will be unalived. That's one. And second thing is, you're going to be the authorities will try to find you and punish you. So the choice is between punishment and not punishment. And Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows the consequences of committing crime. If you commit crime, the consequence is you're going to pay for that crime, and you more or less know what the punishment will be. But in this case, they had absolutely no idea what the consequences would be. So it wasn't really a choice; it was a test, and the consequences were just okay. So because you didn't blindly obey what I wanted you to not do or do, because you didn't want to blindly obey me, you can just, fuck off, and they were banished forever from the Garden of Eden, and everything that hurts, that is pain, became known to them. So this is one thing, demonizing the condition of being able to feel pain, and that's one. And you will note that they were to die at some point of old age, or because someone or something may kill them. So that's another thing. I mean, the punishment is really, all they did is eat fruit, but God goes into a tantrum and just, banishes them and decides that the entirety of mankind will be doomed forever, because two people decided to eat a fucking fruit, but what's more, decided to execute their right to choose, and because they executed their right to choose without any fucking reasoning, for them not to make that choice, they were banished forever. Which is kind of fucked, if you ask me. So it's not really Satan. It's not really Satan or Lucifer, who was the father of sin, but it was actually God himself, because God had the right to choose whether to forgive them or to banish them, and God made that choice because, as Christians say, God knows everything, knew everything, blah blah, and all that bullshit. He made the choice to banish them, like, for fucking ever, and yeah, that was an informed decision, and God created sin. It's not Satan, it's God. You just need to think of it. I've heard earlier today something that kinda makes absolute sense. There is absolutely no doctrine that isn't contradicted at some point within the Bible. Nothing. You have God contradicting himself, making up all these bullshit laws, unaliving people, going on a fucking rampage, and decimating people, tribes. I mean, the head count of God is like in the millions, in the billions actually, because his work spans the entirety of time itself. And who did Satan kill? No one. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. So, God is a fucking murderer. He kills people just because he can, and Satan doesn't. God makes a wager with Satan about Job, and Job is and God throws absolutely everything allows for every fucking. At this point, evil just exists in the world. There are bad people, and God like makes a wager against Job, actually, and allows for all those horrible things to happen to him, his family, everything he owned. He lost everything. His family died in pain. He was in pain for his entire life, and still he followed blindly. And look at how toxic that is. Imagine that you decide someone to be in pain from a certain point throughout the rest of their lives, enduring incredible suffering, unimaginable suffering, losing everyone you love, losing everything you have, losing your own health, becoming a fucking leper, cripple, beggar, and going blind and everything, just because it was a fucking test. Where does he come up with that? What's with this obsession with testing people to do or not to do things? That's fucked. If that isn't toxic behavior, then I don't know what is. Making people make impossible choices, like with Abraham and his son, telling Abraham, hey, Abraham, hey, Abraham, look, this is your son, yeah, so, go and kill him, hey, Abraham, go and kill your son. And he's like, okay, and he goes, and he was about to kill his son, and then God goes, psych, almost got you there. I mean, fuck me. If someone told me to kill my child, I'd say fuck you. I mean, like the old saying goes, if God gives you lemons, find a new God. Cause fuck that bullshit. Besides, lemons are cool. And you don't have to make lemonade out of lemons. Lemons are good. So, Satan, somehow, within the Bible, although Satan doesn't kill anyone, is portrayed as the main villain of the story. But what if God is actually the villain? What if the ultimate evil being is God himself? Because just imagine, wouldn't it be, if you take a look at the entire story of what God does, killing people, being a bigot, favoring only one specific tribe, and telling that tribe to be xenophobic, God's chosen. Okay, imagine that you shift. Just change the names. Change the names. Instead of reading in the Bible everywhere where it says God, read devil or Satan or demon, and wherever there is Satan, read God. Or just shift the weight of good and evil and, reverse them and see how that fits. Wouldn't it just make sense for Satan to kill all those people? For Satan to tell Abraham to kill his son? for Satan to bring down a fucking flood and kill everyone and everything, every living being. According to what Christianity says, I mean, that would totally fit Satan's MO. But somehow, Satan doesn't kill anyone. Satan doesn't bring down any floods. Satan doesn't kill children in Egypt. God does. So what if Satan did all those things, or some demon, or some evil entity? What if that evil entity did all those things, killing of children, making unaliving children, making all those horrible things, and God was the one that was, okay, is in the Garden of Eden. Okay, so he told you not to eat that fruit, but what kind of a request is that? It's just fruit. Eat it. Told you you can do anything. You just go and try it. See what happens. And later on, when Jesus, for example, is tempted on the desert, in the desert, when Jesus is tempted 40 days somewhere in the desert, and what if God was the one who went up to him and said, hey, I mean, you don't have to suffer, you can just name me God, and you can have everything you want, you don't have to suffer. And he's like, yeah, fuck you. And what if it was Satan who told Jesus to, go and die in excruciating pain, and God was the one saying, hey, you don't have to do it, you don't have to go through all that shit, just don't, choose not to suffer. Yeah, but he's my dad, and I will look at this trope. Yeah, he's my dad, I have to obey him, and whatever fucked up request he throws at me. So yeah, Satan. Incredible. I mean, Satan was later on portrayed as the villain, but in pieces of literature. I mean, like, take Paradise Lost by John Milton. It's a poem. It's a really beautiful poem. It's an epic, actually, an English epic written by John Milton, who was a minister in Oliver Cromwell's government when he got to power, and he wrote political speeches for Cromwell. And John Milton depicts Satan as the one who's like, it's better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven, and that's actually the root of this romantic saying, of this romanticizing of Satan, because prior to that, Satan, devil's work, everything, witchcraft, everything was associated with Satan, and it was just pure evil. And after Paradise Lost, this romantic notion of Satan wanting, saying it's better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven. That romantic notion, humanity gets somehow impregnated with this statement, and romanticism picked strongly up on that trope. Yeah, but you're my little devil. Who's my little devil? Who's my little devil? Mwah. My little devil, yeah. Yeah. You're a naughty one, yeah. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. Satan is depicted like that, but later on in one of the books, it says that Satan, made that speech, made that statement that it's better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven. But later on, in hell, he's like, when he's completely alone and he's talking to himself, he says, "Yeah, so okay, I'm condemned for eternity." But fuck that. I ain't gonna be here all alone for eternity. So I'm gonna rise up against humans and take as many of them with me. I mean, I know I am fucked. So I'm gonna fuck every possible thing that I can. But this is literary work. That's literature. That's not a sacred text. That's an outcome of those sacred texts of the Bible. Not even of the Bible, just of that's an outcome of all the ages of preaching that God is good and Satan is bad, and Satan is a manipulator and the father of lies and everything. So yeah, that's how he's being portrayed. Forever condemned, forever scheming. But when you go back to the Bible, you don't actually really see signs of the devil scheming against humanity. It's quite the contrary. God killed people, God killed animals, God killed children, and it's all God's doing just because he favored one or two people or one family or one person. It's not like God is favoring one family or one person and telling them, I'm going to elevate you somehow. No, you are my chosen, so I'm going to destroy everyone else. Literally. Because I like you, everyone else will die. Literally. So, who's the good guy, actually? If you really want to go that deep into the Bible and talk about it like I don't know, like a piece of history instead of an allegory. But even as an allegory, it doesn't just make sense for God to be good. Everything God does in the Bible is like a narcissistic psychopath, because you worship me, so I'm going to favor you, and because I have this fucking power, I'm going to use that power to destroy everything around you and everyone around you, but not you. Not you. You I like because you worship me. And it's not even love, it's worship. It's blind obedience in the name of, yeah, just that blind obedience. If you look now at, for example, the contemporary church or churches of Satan, the Satanic commandments are like, don't harm anyone, don't do anyone any bad thing, don't treat everyone. Treat everyone with respect. And look at contemporary witchcraft. Do no harm, take no shit, but do no harm. And that take no shit part is everything about having your own boundaries and having this kind of even morality of protecting yourself against shit that is being thrown at you, instead of just being like, oh, that's God just testing me. No, if God gives you lemons, finding you God. I don't know what else to say. I said last week that we're going to talk about Satan, but even in the Bible, Satan's kind of the good guy. People turn to Satan for protection, but are smarter than just to blindly follow. They have their own opinions, their own moralities, their own points of view. They are encouraged to doubt, to ask questions. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's it. This is going to be an absolute nightmare to coordinate, but let's start. Let's do it as a test. Maybe if this goes well and I actually get to synchronize 3 separate devices, I might be able to actually record some stuff with all this in my kitchen instead of laying on my couch, which is also my bed, and speaking to a completely unprofessional mic, and instead using this and bathing in all the glory of my 2 lightsabers that are doing the colors here. Nevertheless, I think this is how it's gonna be from now on. This is much more fun, and provided that winter is coming, and it's going to be longer, darker, I'm going to have much more time to record these things. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Obviously I'm doing this by myself. I think I am just going to keep on recording like this. At least the audio should be far better. So let's dive in. You've already seen the previous footage where I'm lying on my bed, and I wanted to just say something more about this topic, about Satan. And I did mention the Temple of Satan, or the Church of Satan, or whatever you want to call it. And coincidentally, I have 7 fundamental tenets of the Satanic Temple. Hear this. One should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. The struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. The freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own. Beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs. People are fallible, if one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. So what do you think about that? I think it's a little bit more reasonable and a little bit more humane than the Ten Commandments or cardinal sins, or I'm not going to even go into the depths of everything that's going on in the Old Testament and New, by the way, because there are fragments in the New Testament which obviously both are read and meditated upon in today's world, today in 2023. Talking about, for example, women as objects, and somehow Christians are so fond of going and delving into the Old Testament to justify their bigotry. They go in there, they reach out to fragments saying that anything outside of God, of the Judaism God, should be, burnt to the ground and wiped from the face of the earth. And there should be no tattoos, there should be no piercings, there should be no touching of unclean women, which is just women in their periods. Yeah. Those are the fragments that are there, and Christians somehow want to reach out to the Old Testament, where all this is put at the same time as things like when I don't obviously I don't have the exact fragment, but we all know you just need to go to any kind of pastor or religious person saying that homosexuals are an offense to God. Well, no. If they are an offense to God, fuck that God, because people are who they are. And as we read, beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. Sexuality is not binary. Sexuality is a scale, and it's not like from A to B. Sexuality goes on the x-axis, on the y-axis, and the fucking z-axis. I mean, come on, it's a 3D model. Sexuality is a 3D model. It reaches far beyond what you fucking bigots want to make of it. No one is either male or female, and that's the fucking science. Biologically, even. So what if you have signs on the outside and that may somehow differentiate, but there are parts on the inside that are completely the same, and that disproves the binary, because binary indicates there are two opposites that don't have anything in common. There is nothing in the middle. But there is. There fucking is. It's science. It's biology. It's anatomy. It's fucking brain chemistry. We have the same chemicals. So fuck you, bigots. Go fuck yourselves. Want to be bigots? Go fucking be bigots somewhere else. I would rather be alongside Satan than go with a god that hates people, and especially with people that hate other people. I'd like to say I have compassion for all you bigots, but I don't. Have to be honest. So, with that said, and with those tenets, I think I'm gonna finish here, and I'm going to work on a new formula to make this more entertaining. I'm working on new ideas, going to test them out soon, probably next week. Thank you for joining me, and have a good day.